Is the United Nations still relevant in this day and age, given the fact that some nations can can sway or even completely defy the decisions of the United Nations? Again, from the point of view of developing countries like the Philippines, is the United Nations still relevant in this day and age, given the fact that some countries can sway or even completely defy the decisions of the United Nations?
Thank you for that wonderful question. So before I'm going to sustain my answer about that kind of question, we need to look first on two things. First is the state of our own country, especially the Philippines. And second is the relevance and also the importance of the United Nations, especially when you talk about, trying to help, trying to guide, and trying to help developing countries as well. So in the first part, in the conditions of the Philippines as a developing country, it is already clear that we are still a developing country. We are still on the brinks and we still need guidance. Like for instance, talk about the territorial disputes between Philippines and China. We still need the help of foreign countries in order to guide us. Or let's talk about how the issues of RH bill in our system, when in fact RH bill can really help our own Philippines, and yet the people are still have these main issues that the RH bill is anti-abortion, but in fact it is not. So that's why it holds on to my second point about the relevance of UN to the Philippines, because I do think that the UN is there in order to guide us and in order to help us and in order to educate us about the best ways in order to handle our own country. Because when you talk about handling our own country, especially the Philippines, you don't necessarily just talk about social reforms and things like that, but you also talk about economic reforms, like environmental reforms and things like that. And so I do think that the relevance of the UN should always be there, and they should be there to guide us, the Philippines, in our progress and development. Thank you.
Your follow-up question is this: how would you respond to smaller or less developed countries that say that they are at a disadvantage because of the immense influence of countries such as the United States and China on the decisions that are made by the United Nations as a body? Again, how would you respond to smaller or less developed countries that say that they are at a disadvantage because of the immense influence of countries such as the United States and China on the decisions of the United Nations as a body?
Before I can answer that, I want to relate this to a certain country who is more